On today's episode, r/MaliciousCompliance, where two bosses who think that they know it all get it proven to them that they don't. Our next Reddit story is by Because Life Is. Many summers ago, I worked front desk at a regional headquarters for a multinational corporation. For a visitor to be granted entrance, they had to prove that A, they have an appointment, and B, they are who they claim to be. Now, the first part was easy. No need to show us an email, just give us the name and we'd call that person to confirm. The second required some sort of ID though. Driver's license, employee badge, something like that. Or, your inviter would have to meet you out here and confirm to us in writing. Note that we didn't keep your document, we just needed to put down your name and take a real quick glance at your face and photo. Most of our visitors had no problem with the protocol. Some would voice their frustration, but still comply. Well, not this special guy. He got aggressive and demanded an explanation about the need for an ID when he was standing right here. Couldn't seem to grasp it however we tried, and he got increasingly louder. He didn't want his inviter to meet him outside because, "This is wrong." Security was ready to see him out when he screamed at us to call the cops, because we needed to be arrested and taught a lesson on civil rights. Calls were made, cops came quickly, and he went out in cuffs. Turns out they already had a warrant, they just weren't in a hurry to get him. Icing on the cake was that he was here for a job interview. I feel like even if I thought they were joking, if I was there for a job interview, I would just do whatever I was asked. Like, I would take it as, okay, this is the first step of my job interview. They're seeing if I can react as a normal person would in this pretty normal situation. And clearly that guy failed so hard that he ended up getting arrested instead of getting the job. He didn't even make it to the interview. He doesn't get the job, and then he gets arrested. Our next Reddit story is by Department Large 9472. I used to work as a food receiver in a retirement home kitchen. I won't say a name, but I will say it sounds vaguely Nordic. When I took over as food receiver in the primary kitchen, didn't have much training. I was just told, you helped the previous guy, you know the most, job is yours. Over the next almost 8 years, I got that place maximized for peak use of space. Every now and then, we would get a new head chef, and they always made the mistake of trying to run it like a restaurant. Usually in about 2 weeks, they'd realize that it was a different vibe and tone, and adjust accordingly. I had a great head chef as a boss for about 5 years. He knew that since deliveries were food and on some degree perishable, my schedule needed to be a little bit fluid and flexible to account for the late deliveries while not having me rack up overtime. We worked out a great system where I basically set my own hours and got everything done. Fast forward to regime change. Head chef was a tool, but with him came a woman whose job title was never told to any of us in the kitchen. We were just told she outranked all of us. First thing she did was decide I would no longer have a fluid schedule. My shifts would be posted on the board like all others, 2 weeks in advance. I didn't like it, but okay, fair enough. Cut to about 2 weeks later, I had to leave early for a dentist's appointment. That had been submitted for approval months ago. I reminded her the day before and the day of. Day after, she gives me a dressing down and a written reprimand for leaving before the end of a scheduled shift. She told me she didn't care what happened before, she never had papers for this request. Luckily for me, the head of the entire dining department, even above the head chef, told her that she had been given all of those time off approval papers when she started. And if my shift didn't reflect that, my pre-approved leaving early, it was her fault for not paying attention. Unluckily, she decided to take it out on me, saying that, "From now on, once scheduled is posted, no changes unless it's in writing and signed by both of us, minimum of 2 days prior. No exceptions." I looked at the calendar and saw I'd get to have fun and get payback. See, being a food receiver, a monthly job of mine was to do end-of-month inventory on all food, beverage, and cleaning items. I had actually created the inventory paperwork myself, so instead of being alphabetical, the items were all listed together based on which area they were stored in. Dishwasher chemical closet, freezer, dry food storage, soda syrup room, etc. Meaning, after a few months, I could go room to room quickly and be done in less than 2 hours. Catch was, it had to be done either last thing, last day of the month, or first thing, first day of the month, and could not do 2 in the same month. With no weekend deliveries, I worked Monday through Friday. Now, under the old cool head chef, if I had to do that on a Saturday or a Sunday, I'd just come in and do it, then leave early on a slow day, canceling extra hours. And, lo and behold, this was one of those months where inventory would have to be done on a Saturday or Sunday. Days she had me as off on the calendar. I grinned like Tim Curry or the Grinch in Home Alone 2 and waited. Sure enough, last Friday of the month, she asks me, "Which day are you coming in for inventory?" I told her I wasn't. I was scheduled off. She goes into a tirade about, "It's your job. You don't tell me no. I'll have you written up," etc. I calmly told her the schedule was her job and responsibility, not mine. This earned me, "I don't care what the schedule says, you're coming in this weekend." To which I sweetly and sarcastically asked if she had a paper signed by both of us and dated no later than yesterday about us agreeing to the switch. "You know," I said, "the policy you created when you got called out by the head office for not properly handling my scheduled early shift?" If smartphones had been commonly around in 2009, I would have taken a picture of her face. I found out from Weekend Crew it took her almost an entire day to do it herself. That was first of many times she found out the fun way that about half the tasks I did under the old regime were technically not required by my work position. I just did them when I had extra time to help a boss I respected. Now, OP inserted another story about the head chef. Some of you have asked to hear more about the head chef I mentioned in passing. I'll add the first and short instance now, the second and longer later. My failing is I get mad when I start thinking, and without realizing it, I end up filling a story with a lot of insults and swears, and I need to rewrite it to be somewhat professional. Chef Weenie number 1. So, for the head chef and his nimrotic attitude, as I stated before, my shift was Monday through Friday. Never found out if that was a company policy or just for the kitchen staff, but technically, we in the kitchen were supposed to work either one day every weekend or every other full weekend. The previous cool chef realized only food deliveries on weekends were 3 boxes of pastries, and Monday through Friday, there was a constant stream of food orders I needed to either place or receive and quality check. So he circumvented and had me, the food receiver, work the days where there was actually food to receive. Now, Chef Weenie comes around. He thinks I've politicked to get all weekends off and tells me, "You're coming in on Sunday." I try to explain to him there's logistical reasons I have off weekends. He just interrupts me, claiming that my days of special treatment are over, and that, even though there's no deliveries, just find something to do. Clean the freezer, fridge, or something. So, I come in on Sunday. Now, I kept areas pretty clean on a daily basis, only falling behind by a day from time to time if I have heavy deliveries or something. 2 walk-in freezers, 1 walk-in fridge, 1 dry food storage room, and 1 soda syrup room. Except, this Sunday, they were all recently cleaned with no issues, so I spent 8 hours puttering around. Now a side tangent about the delivery schedule. Chef placed orders for raw meat, seafood, and fresh produce for daily deliveries. I placed orders for twice-a-week ice cream deliveries, twice-a-week milk deliveries, and big orders of bulk foods. I forget the ice cream and milk schedule, but bulk orders were placed on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday deliveries. Everything got ordered on Friday for the first delivery day for the following week. So, back to the week. I've worked Sunday into Wednesday now, and it's before they added me to the printed schedule, so I go to the chef and ask what my 2 days off this week are going to be. That's company policy, by the way, not entitlement. He says, Well, take Saturday off. There's no deliveries. I then ask about my second day off. He looks at the calendar and gets this, oh, fornicate me look. Starts stammering about all the orders that need placed or received both of those days. I agree that yes, there are a lot of deliveries and orders to be taken care of, but repeat that I need a second day off per company policy. He then starts in about how no one else here really knows how to place and take care of orders. I hold firm that's not my problem. I'm supposed to have 2 days off. The head of dining for the entire campus gets involved. Right away, the chef is asked, why'd you have him work a day where there's no deliveries? So, A, I got the next day, Thursday, off. B, chef had to scramble to get the Friday orders placed for the weekend, not even knowing where the order forms were. C, he didn't schedule me for any more weekends. And yes, that's the shorter incident. Wow, having one bad boss is difficult, but having two bad bosses, that's rough. But I do think you handled this perfectly. You absolutely maliciously complied with everything that they were telling you to do. You have to get 2 days off per company policy. Your schedule is now having to be posted, unlike having your fluid schedule with your previous boss. And on top of that, these two just come in and think that they know more than everybody else there. I think that's the problem that so many people have with their jobs is they get new management and that new management wants to put their foot down and show that they're the ones in control and that they know more than everybody else. You've been in this role for years. You have a system that works perfectly. They come in and mess it up. You make it obvious that they messed it up. They didn't earn your respect, so you weren't giving them the kind courtesy that you would in other situations. They didn't deserve you to be the good employee that you were being, so you did your job description, which is basically what they wanted you to do, until they realized that's not what they wanted you to do. Meeting their minimum understanding with your minimum effort is the exact way that you deal with bosses like this. That's all for today. Thanks for listening. If you like this content, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to the channel, gave this video a like, and comment down below if there's anything else you want to hear.